never know.
Tanya Butterfield, too, is fighting foreclosure.
I didn't realize this was going to be that emotional. So,
with the help of an attorney, like Zito, Butterfield discovered inconsistencies in the documents used to take her home.
It's, something that we see all the time.
Tara Newberry represents the Butterfields.
You look at the document and they sign as an officer of MERS, and then the next recording down, it's the same person signing as the vice president of Bank ABC. And it's like, wait a minute.
On the same day in records filed to foreclose on the Butterfields, the name Angela Nava appears wearing two hats. On one document, she's the Assistant Secretary of MERS, the Mortgage Electronic Registration System. On another, she's the Assistant Secretary for U.S. Bank.
And the question becomes, who is Angela Nava? Did she have the authority to make this assignment? And on whose behalf was she really acting?
Newberry suspects Nava is a robo-signer, a mortgage servicing employee who signs off on thousands of foreclosures without actually reviewing them.
She's in the same predicament as I am.
Like the Butterfields, Art Einhorn found the Nava name in his foreclosure records, except here, instead of U.S. Bank, Nava is the Assistant Secretary of Deutsche Bank. In case after case, the I-team discovered Nava's signatures for Bank of America and for Bank of New York.
What do you think's going on here?
Troy Fox is Einhorn's attorney.
I think Angela Nava works for some company where all she does all day is sign her name.
Attorneys general in all 50 states deem robo-signing a crime. And Nevada's AG recently announced a 600-count indictment in a scheme suspected of producing tens of thousands of fraudulent documents.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
Chief Deputy Attorney General John Kelleher is prosecuting the case.
The scope and the size of the fraud we're talking about I find it hard to even put it in a context, because we've never seen anything this global, this industry-wide.
But in the civil arena, robo-signing and its impact remains largely undefined. Einhorn's case, presently before the state Supreme Court, may set the precedent here in Nevada.
We don't know what is going to happen next. We don't know if years down the road you may have to defend a claim about whether or not you own your own home.
After 30-plus years in the banking industry, Bill Campbell discovered in retirement that he may not own his home. Even though he never missed a payment, an illegal foreclosure before he bought it calls his rights into question. Tisha Black told him 9 out of every 10 homes that were once in foreclosure have a problem with the title.
I'm not going to make the kind of money that it's going to take to qualify to buy another house. Where am I going to go? I'm a renter for the rest of my life because of decisions that somebody else made.
And it got to the point we had to either choose to eat or make the house payment.
Karen Barrett and her husband put everything they had into a small fixer-upper. It's always been more than just a house. It's a memory box, the last place Karen's father visited before he died of cancer, the first place her granddaughter visited after being born. When the economy crashed, their income dropped. U.S. Bank told them if they wanted a modified mortgage, they first had to default by stopping their payments. Months later, they were notified of their new mortgage.
So it gets sent here, gets sent there, and basically it came back. They would lower our house payment $7.
How long did it take you to get a $7 reduction in your house payment?
It took a couple of months, yeah.
$7.
$7 whole.
The Barretts had no choice but to allow the bank to sell the house. Because they hoped to get a few bucks from the sale, they continued to fix and maintain the place. Weeks before it was to be turned over, Karen got an alert from her alarm company there'd been a break-in. When she raced home, she saw the front door had been smashed in, the alarm ripped out, and 5 guys were inside.
And I said, "Who are you? What are you doing in my home?" And they wouldn't answer me. I said, "What are you doing in my home?" "We have the right to be here." I'm like, "No, you don't have the right to be here. This is my home."
After police arrived, the men finally admitted they worked for a subcontractor, Five Brothers Construction, which had been hired by the bank, though the Barretts still owned the house.
Very scary to think we're in the United States and this can happen to you.
I know they're destroying lives.
Brad Myers had good credit and a good job when he bought his dream home in Laughlin. But when it came time to sign the final papers, the payment listed was much higher than what he'd agreed to pay. No problem, he was told.
They said that they would correct it. Let's just get in the house and take care of it. So I did sign the loan documents.
He immediately began negotiating with Bank of America for a modification. Months of delays followed, but he finally was approved in writing for a payment he could afford. For the next 18 months, he made the payments. Then the bank changed its mind.
And all of a sudden I get a letter in the mail, my mortgage payment was returned, and now they're telling me that I owe the full payment. They decided they're not going to honor it, and basically the gist is that I'm going into foreclosure.
How do I counsel clients?
Attorney Matt Collister says Myers was victimized twice, once by the mortgage agent who pulled a bait and switch, and then by B of A, which had no intention of letting him keep the house.
Why is it that banks are being allowed to do this?